Hey, Frankie Valley, he gets the people going.
That's just too many points.
I was like, hey, Gabe, how's it going? I love your work.
Dudes on the Mall is the podcast to listen to.
Well, it's been a long season, and we have made it to the end. This year's kind of flown by. It's kind of hard to believe that tomorrow is going to be our last game of the year, potentially.
12 games isn't enough.
It's not.
Give me more. Give me more. I'm telling you, in like 6 or 7 weeks or so, we're gonna get that. The itch is going. Like I need some of that college football. You know what I mean?
I think that might be Sunday.
No,
No, no.
Get that energy out of here.
We're coming at you late here this week. Night before the game against Houston, couple 2/3 of the dudes came back with jungle fever from their cruise, so have been down bad all week. So everyone's back to close to 100%. So we're running this before our game here tomorrow. How was the cruise?
It was a good
cruise
time,
was
man.
fun.
Well, I hope you enjoyed it because I'm blaming the loss on you two for not being in the
Yeah.
US.
I knew it wasn't it. Well, because I texted you because the literal very first thing I did when we got on the cruise was I went to the room and I checked the TVs to see if they had FS2, and the TVs were like, I don't know what network they get or whatever, but the selections were awful. And so I was like, okay, whatever. So then there was a sports bar like on the ship. I was like, okay, maybe they have it. And so I walked up and I asked the bartender. I was like, do you guys get FS2? And he goes, no. I was like, okay. He goes, what are you looking for? I was like, I was just trying to watch a college football game. He goes, oh, we get the NFL. And I was like, no. I was like, no. I was trying to watch like some college football. He goes, oh, we have some college football too. I was like, yeah, but you don't have my channel. He was like, no. I was like, okay. And then I texted Brandon and I told him I thought about jumping off the ship.
You should have.
Hey, I tell you what, though, they did have UL Monroe.
What a game, right?
What a game,
dude! They
That's
had
all I'm saying.
they had all that, but they didn't have like Georgia, Tennessee. Like I remember sitting in the sports bar and we were watching Georgia, Tennessee, and then I made Matt try to find like a stream of the UCF game, and it was just a mess.
Well, this week's recap will be coming from me since Justin and Josh really didn't get too much, but I'll dive into the stats real quick. 1 point loss, obviously, to Texas Tech, super upsetting. I know, I think we kind of teased it last week, a potential letdown spot coming off the Oklahoma State game. Kind of knowing that we just had our biggest win of the year. And, we're coming into another 5-win team looking for bowl eligibility who had just beaten Kansas. So tough place to play, but just going into it real quick. Down the list, Plumlee threw for 248, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. He was also our leading rusher, 13 carries for 84 yards. Tried to hurdle a guy at the beginning of the game. I don't know if you
I
guys
did
saw
see
that.
that.
I saw the highlight.
I
Yeah.
did, and it was a pretty bad attempt. But
The guy looked like he was going to go low, so he like instantly shot up, and then the guy never went low, so he just kind of jumped into him.
he pretty much did an Antonio Brown.
Yeah, well, it was kind of nice to see though, because it's like, all right, like his knees clearly feeling a little bit better if he thinks he can try and pull that one off. Texas Tech, though, did a really good job at containing RJ Harvey, 20 carries for 78 yards. His longest was 18. He just never really got going during the game. It just kind of felt like they'd give him the ball, their defense would collapse on him, and he'd fall forward for 2 or 3 yards. Once again, the deep plays working. Javon with the huge touchdown to what we thought would be tie the game, then had said missed extra point from Boomer. Also had a missed field goal from him too. And then some questionable officiating throughout the game. Also coupled with some poor clock management and the defense once again proving that they cannot stop the run. With Tajay Brooks going for was this 182 yards, averaged 7.6 yards per carry. And yeah, that was the story of the game, was stopping the run and getting turnovers, which we did. We got one, we forced one, we picked them off one time. But literally the main issue that game, I know there was clock management issues. I know there was like the officials were just throwing flags the whole game. People were getting frustrated with it. the we missed kicks, but at the end of the day, I think it all comes back to stopping the run. That was why we lost the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we thought Ole Gordon was going to do to us, right?
Yeah, that was actually Ollie Gordon.
I'd love to go back to every podcast this year and just like listen to the keys of the game because it's just been the same.
It's gonna have to be. We're gonna have to do a supercut. A compilation of just beating this dead horse.
Brandon's quip in the intro needs to change to just stop the run.
Stop the run.
Like I'm not gonna look too far into it just because at this point, like, it is what it is, and we're at the last game of the season. But we're 5-6. I think we've had 5 games decided by 1 or 2 points, and that right there should show you that, like, we have a competitive team. Like, we have a team that can compete. We have a team that is adjusting to a move to the Big 12, but they don't know how to win. I think we're at the point right now where a lot of these guys on this team we're going to be bringing in are higher recruits. They've transferred in. They don't, like, when you're in high school and you're like one of those upper recruits, you don't lose. Like, you don't, like, it's just like you're on a team that never loses in high school. And they're getting into this college game now, or they were with us in the American last year. We basically steamroll almost past everybody, minus, Tulane at the end, basically, in Navy. But they don't know how to close out games. They don't know how to win. I think we have a bunch of guys that are just not there yet. And I think that if we can make a bowl game, these extra 2 weeks of practice will do wonders for this team going into next year.
Yeah, it just seems like we had a lot of guys who haven't been through adversity. I think that's the key there, is that the adversity piece of like just exactly what you said. We got these guys coming in from high schools who have been dominant. And like that's why that they got the stars, that's why they're 3 stars. That's why the new guys coming in, they're 4 stars. They're used to all the, the hype, and they're, the top dog mentality, when in reality, this year we're bottom of the totem pole. Like, we're not there yet. So it's these next couple of seasons, especially, starting now, this is kind of the stepping stone of getting that mindset, getting the minds right to be able to handle adversity, be able to, make that mental change, that mental switch of like, hey, my shit didn't stink in high school, but now I got to figure out, how to handle this and how to move forward and, the next man up. And yeah, that's the epitome of it all, is getting the next one.
Yeah. I think like hindsight wise, like you were saying, Brandon, like if I were to go back to the beginning of the season, like we all said, 9-3, 10-2 was our ceiling, and 6-6 was about our floor. I mean, we're right there. So is this season a failure? No, absolutely not. I think we've played well. And like you said, we've been in a lot of 1-score games. We've been tight in a lot of these games. I think if I were to change anything about my outlook on this season when I first started, I wouldn't worry so much about the talent on the field, and I would maybe think about the coaching even more. I mean, the jump from coaching to, like you said, like high school or, G5 up to this, I didn't think about it, but it's got to be substantial. I mean, a lot of those 1-score games, you can narrow it down to the coaches. You really can. I mean, you said it, clock management. We've been talking about play calling all season. Little things like that can make huge differences in these 1-score games. And so I like you said, we're a great team, and we've been in a lot of these games, and a lot of that I think boils down to coaching and not the players on the field.
I think one thing that has been overlooked too, and obviously all the blame is going to get put on Gus as the head coach. On coordinator side, both sides, we have brand new offensive and defensive coordinators,
right,
who are fresh. I mean, this is the first time our DC's even had a defensive coordinator job. Henshaw's coming over, having been an OC briefly, but we might as well just say they're both brand new without any coordinator experience. Like,
right,
it shows when the players are looking like they're doing okay. Like, if we're going to look at the offense and compare the offense to years past, I think honestly the offense this year is one of the better offenses that we've had, minus the red zone issues. You take away the red zone issues, and I mean, the numbers speak for itself. Just look at, we're top 10 in the nation yards per game. Our We have two receivers, which is absolutely wild, that are top. We have two receivers over 700 receiving yards, and they're both averaging over 20 yards per reception, which is absolutely insane to have two guys doing it. We have a 1,000-yard rusher. Considering the injuries that Plumlee's had, the offense has done great, minus the red zone woes, which hopefully we fix going into next year. The defensive side, I think, looks like a Big 12 defense right now. They can't tackle. They can't get off the field. They can't stop the run. I think that's where that first year experience is now showing. If we're going to go back and look at it, how we if we should have done this at the beginning of the year, knowing what we know now, I think defense is what obviously we need to work on moving forward. But I think we could have seen it coming if we had maybe thought a little bit more about it.
Yeah.
I think the big thing from this year too, and we can talk about, play calling, we can talk all that stuff that you guys mentioned. We talk about, Plumlee and the freak athlete that he is. I think this season boils down to what if. What could have happened? These minor adjustments here. What if Plumlee didn't get hurt? What if the play calling was a little bit better in certain situations, like our 2-point conversion in Oklahoma? What if the red zone issues weren't a thing? These little pieces of the puzzle. It's done wonders for our season. Well, not in a good way, but essentially it's just what if these little things that are stupid issues, discipline issues, things like that. What if all of that was different? Because even a slight change, a slight directional change, is the difference between 5-7 or 6-6 that we potentially could have to 9-3, 10-2 season.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that should be the theme of the season, is what if.
I agree.
As long as we learn from it, that's my biggest thing.
I almost
if in 2 years from now, right, if we have an amazing season, right, I almost would look back on this season and be like, I'm so glad that happened. I wouldn't change a thing. You know what I mean? If we continue this for years, throw everything I'm saying right now out the window. But the best teacher is failure, right? So it's almost a good thing. I'm trying to put a positive spin on it, I guess, but it's almost a good thing that we're making these mistakes right now, because let's not make those mistakes when we're putting together a good team that could potentially be competing for a Big 12 championship. I don't think this team was ever going to be the team competing for a Big 12 championship, especially this year with how many. I know there's a lot of adversity in the Big 12, but I don't think we would have won the Big 12. I don't think any UCF fan thought we were going to win the Big 12 this year. So let's get it out of the way this year, learn from it, and continue to build.
So that goes back to the point earlier when I was saying this is key for the adversity and making that flipping the mind now, saying, all right, we went through some stuff. Let's figure it out. Let's learn from it. Let's keep going.
I don't know if people remember or not, but I know, Justin, back from 2000 and we'll say 6 to 12, every other season we went 4-8, literally. Yeah. Every other season we would win a conference championship, go 4-8. We would have an 8-9 win season, go 4-8. And that pattern continued for I think it was a 6-year period. It was 6 or 8 years. I
felt like it, yeah.
No, it literally was though. I know for a fact that at least 2008 was a 4-8 season, because it came up in an Aflac trivia question today.
Yes, yeah.
But I think that puts stuff in perspective, just knowing you're going to go through your woes. It is what it is. And then I'm going to look back at 2017. Everyone on that team, over half of them were a part of that 2015 team. 2017 doesn't happen without 2015. So looking forward to next year, our success is going to be based off of, what we built this year. A lot of learning lessons. It's like a toddler learning to walk. We've fallen down 50 times this year, and we've still gotten up. We've continued to compete. We've stuck it out. We hang around. We've shown that we can belong. Now it's just next year putting those pieces together and actually finishing the games.
Exactly.
But outside of Texas Tech, I know we have another game, so we don't need to be talking about we're done for the year. So
yeah, we're not done.
We still got Houston, which I don't know if other people feel like this, but I know at least in this circle right here, Houston's up there with the USFs and Memphises in terms of games that we don't want to play them. We don't want them here.
No, we talked about it at some point this season. Recency bias, obviously, Cincinnati would probably be our biggest rival, but like I said, dating back to my childhood, I hope that, and I wish that it would be like this with the schedule over the next 4 years, and it's not, since we've seen them. But I would love to play Houston every rivalry weekend. They suck. I hate them. Like, they are a dirty team, a bunch of assholes. I just don't like them. I love beating them. I love it.
What do you guys think about the recent spin of trying to make this, they're calling it the space race or like the space rivalry?
Don't tell Dana Holgerson that. He's having no part of it.
I thought, see, when we first moved over to the Big 12 and we saw that Houston was our rivalry game, I'm having such a hard time with that word, a rivalry weekend game. I thought that was the spin they were trying to take on it, honestly.
So there was a report that came out when we played them for our space game back in 2019, that our equipment staff, this actually came out this past week. Our equipment staff reached out to Houston to see if they wanted to do like a custom helmet or something to like get, like, they're trying to incorporate them, like, to make it a space thing. And they said no, they didn't want any part of it.
Soft.
And then throughout this week, Dana Holgerson's made a couple of comments about how the whole space thing's stupid and that Houston's the real space, whatever. And man's fighting for his job this week. That staff,
yeah, he's absolutely on the hot seat.
they're on their way out
Yeah.
after a pullout loss tomorrow.
Houston, we have a problem.
But I
don't think they could do it as well as us, and that's why they don't want to.
Well, no one goes to their games.
Right. They'd rather get a cease and desist letter from the NFL for wearing Oilers uniforms than try to compete with us.
Oh,
Or they can go like the
It's
classic.
8 week, Josh. We gotta get it.
They can go with the classic college blackout, and they don't have any black in their school logo.
Who was I telling that to earlier today? I was watching the Tulane game, and Tulane's wearing all black, and I think it was Darby. It was like, I like Tulane's uniforms, and I was like, I have a big problem with teams that have blackout uniforms that don't have black in their color combo.
Florida,
I hate Florida, exactly. Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Like, I understand that you want to do a blackout game. Black is not one of your
Kentucky.
colors. Your entire uniform can't be black. Like, that's just not how this works. That's like, with that, I mean, the equivalent of that is like UCF being like, I'm gonna wear purple, which I know we wore blue, but
That's
that's more of a throwback than anything.
Yeah.
I can understand the throwback. If you had black at one point, I can get that. But like, if we wore like all purple, what the hell's going on here?
I am here for our blackout uniforms tomorrow, and supposedly Javon's the one that picked the sticker design for the helmet, and I think it's absolutely fire.
It's the like 2 different decals, right? The nighthead and the
Yeah. Do we want to get Houston game preview out of the way, and then we'll dive into picks and dude of the week?
Yeah.
Sure.
Unless you
Let's
have
do
anything.
Well, coming into it this week, all-time UCF 7-3 against Houston. Expect it to be chippy tomorrow. Expect Houston to be talking. Expect the late hits. Expect them to play dirty. It's just how they are. It's what's going to happen. I'm not biased at all. Coming into this week, though, Houston 4-7, so they're looking to play spoiler to our season. Spread is currently at 14 in favor of UCF with an over/under at 60.5.
It's a lot of points.
It is a lot of points. We've been consistently on the under recently. ESPN FPI 84% chance for UCF to win. Looking at the matchup here, Houston does not run their football. Their leading rusher has 94 carries for 456 yards and 3 touchdowns.
On the whole season? Oh my god!
Whole season, leading rusher 456.
K-State did that against us in one game.
So, they get it done through the air. Their quarterback has thrown for 2,640 yards, 21 touchdowns, 12 picks in a double-digit pick area. And their leading receiver has 20 more grabs than Javon does and 100 less receiving yards. So he's 815. Javon's at 907. So key to the game tomorrow is not stopping the run. Force turnovers.
I think we should still stop the run though. If they try.
I think we should.
Still trying to stop the run, but turnovers and don't get beat deep. That's tomorrow's keys.
If you would have asked me, like, I trust our DBs way more than our D line right now.
Well, I do too.
If at the beginning of the season I heard myself say that, I wouldn't believe that.
What are you drinking?
Yeah, exactly. But Like the second you say that they don't run the ball effectively, I'm like, okay, we're gonna win. I don't.
Well, they don't run the ball effectively. Their offense has been pretty inconsistent this year. Just going through their schedule and what they've done, they put up 30 against Oklahoma State, but they only put up 14 against Cincinnati and lost. They got shut out against Kansas State. They put up 41 against West Virginia and beat them in a wild game.
That was
I remember
What
that.
else? They lost to Rice in double overtime at the beginning of the year, and they beat UTSA 14-17. So literally, no one knows what Houston team's going to show up tomorrow. I'm willing to bet that it's going to be a demoralized team that doesn't want to be there. Dana Holgerson's going to be yelling on the sidelines. He's going to throw his visor, and he's going to be booted after this game. And I think we're going to stick it to him. I really think we are.
I would love to be the last nail in the coffin of Dana Holgerson's career at Houston. So
Can you imagine a
I'm fine with
shutout
that.
tomorrow?
Stop.
What a way to cap the year that would
I'm
be.
just saying. Well, I'm just not for our sake, not for our sake, but for Houston's sake. If we shut them out, that is the easiest decision that owner or that they all have to make is get everybody
doesn't-
out.
He doesn't get back on the plane.
Yeah. He's walking. He's walking home.
He's walking. He's
No,
gonna have to take the space shuttle back.
He's moving down to Fort Myers for retirement. He's staying in Florida. No, maybe he'll go coach like FIU or something.
There you go.
Yeah, he would definitely downgrade before retire.
Yeah,
He'll go coach at Bethune-Cookman or something like that.
he'll do something. But he's a game tomorrow. I'll throw stop the run in there. I'm actually not worried about it, but don't get beat deep. Force turnovers. Take care of the ball. I am kind of nervous for what the stadium's going to look like. I really
It's gonna
don't.
be bad.
It's
It's gonna be bad.
I've already prepared for the student section to be less than half full on both sides.
They put
I'm
out
not
some
help-
great tweets today. Did you see their
Yeah.
tweet of like getting all the memes of getting people in the stadium today? That was pretty good.
I'll say I will be a guilty party. I have to leave because of work, but it's a reason I have to leave. So I'll at least be there for like the first quarter. But I'm out at about 1:00 or so tomorrow. Josh, you can make it most of the game, at least half.
I'll be there probably for a half, depending on. I'm going back down to Miami. I'm going on another cruise. The same ship, same everything. So I'm gonna walk on, and immediately everybody's gonna be like, "Oh God, this guy's back." Oh geez. So yeah, heading down to Miami. So I'll probably have to leave at halftime, but shouldn't be a problem if we do our job. And if not, I might have to stay for just to make sure our guys are in check.
You can still leave. I'll do that. Don't worry. They'll hear me. They'll hear me. Believe it.
You'll have Jack, and Jack got a ticket, so he's going to go tomorrow. There'll be some people there.
Alex was asking me if he could come over to our section. I was like, I'm pretty sure nobody's going to be there. So yeah,
there's going to be room.
come on.
But yeah, last home game of the season. Let's get a win. I'm not going to look forward to any bowls yet, even though I know that we're excited about some of the stuff that we've seen. We're going to win tomorrow. We're going to take care of business, and then we'll be back for a bowl preview, and we'll have some maybe some surprises here to close out the season, I think.
I would very much like to leave the stadium happy tomorrow, because last season in our last home game, I didn't even get a chance to revel in the fact that it was our last. Usually after the last
You
home
sit
game of the
there
season,
for a second.
you take a moment. You're like, okay, we'll see you next year, whatever. I got out of that stadium so fast last year. I did not want to be there. Get me the hell out of here. I don't want to do that again.
They're doing post-game fans on the field again.
Not the Navy. Yeah, well, we'll see. So,
Well, it'll be fun tomorrow. FS1 noon, 10 local for Boise.
FS1, we got bumped up, huh?
We
We
get
got bumped up. We're promoted, boys.
Dude of the week.
Dude of the week.
I do believe I won this past week again.
Yeah, who?
I had the dog.
The dog. Oh, okay. Yeah. The
Yeah.
robot dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I think
Technology
I'm leading in
always
dude of
wins.
the week.
Technology.
That's fair. Well,
We just-
I think I've got the furthest thing from technology for my dude of the week this week. I'll lead it off
God.
because this is a good one.
I think it's too late. Also, I think it's too late to do a vote at this point. So I guess this one's just kind of like for fun or whatever. I mean, I could
Yeah.
try to put it out tomorrow, but
Eh,
Nah.
I already got my one for next week too lined up, so I'm ready to
All
go
right.
back to
Yeah,
back.
you can just internally
Um,
vote on this one.
Yeah. So my dude of the week, you guys might have seen it. Last week, Washington, Oregon State, great game, playing in the freezing rain. It's pouring rain the whole game. It's night. It's dark
Oh, I
outside.
know.
It's cold.
Yeah.
This guy decided, I can't make it to the bathroom to go and relieve myself. He'd probably had a couple of beverages. So this gentleman decided that the best thing to do is to go to the concourse of the Oregon State Stadium and stand with his hands, nicely on a circular table. I think I won, guys. Stand with his hands on a circular table and proceed to not just pee, but have a fire hydrant
Dude, he had a
stream of
stream.
urine
Oh my
going
God.
straight onto a support beam. While there's people standing around him, a lady on the other side of the beam that has no idea what's going on. And there is a great video of this man's stream. It literally, I had to watch it like 5 or 6 times. I thought someone was like, had a straw next to him, was blowing water out the straw, and it just kept going like a hose.
Dude, I
Like,
totally forgot that I saw that. That was so. I mean, it was like. I'm surprised it wasn't freezing right as it came out, but it
you
was.
could
It
see
was
the
a
steam coming
stream.
off of it. It was that cold. Like,
That
and
is one of the wildest things I've ever seen.
and to my knowledge and to the internet's knowledge, he didn't get kicked out of the stadium. So dude of the week,
Really?
dude of the
No
week,
way.
peed in the stadium, didn't want to pee his pants, even though he could have peed his pants because it was raining so much. No one would have known. But instead decided to just pee on the concourse in front of everybody with an angle that he thought would block it with the top of the table and the pole in front of him, but didn't think about the sides, which I mean, to be fair, if he's just peeing from inside his pants, I guess it is what it is. But yeah, dude of the
Did he
week,
actually
Oregon
not get
State.
kicked out of the stadium?
Oregon
I don't think
State
he
did.
did.
You can straight
I don't
up get
think he did.
arrested for that, and he didn't even get kicked out of the stadium.
I don't think anyone went and reported it. Just the guy that got the video was
Oh
like
my
just
God.
locked in. Don't worry, I got a great picture for mine if we were to tweet it.
That is
They-
absolutely wild.
They probably thought he was freaking pressure washing. That pressure? Oh my God. I mean, that
I
stream
don't know.
was, you could clean a sidewalk with that stream.
Can you see this?
Kind of.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, dude.
Dude of the
Oh my
week.
God, that's so good. Yeah, I don't even want to compete with that. That's hilarious.
I'm going to go next only because mine is related. So the past
Okay.
couple of weeks, I've been getting really into the Pat McAfee show. I think it's very entertaining. The fact that ESPN has it up, every single day is wild. My dude of the week is going to be Ty Schmidt from the Pat McAfee show from this week. One of the days he just so happened to have sharded in his pants. They were in the middle of talking about something, and he has a dry erase board, and he writes, "I just sharded" on the dry erase board. And he shows it, and they all start dying. This man stands up, and you could tell by the way he was walking. He was doing like that waddle. It was bad. And he was back after like 15 minutes or so. He came back, and I'm just like mad respect to someone in the middle of a live show. Essentially, you shit yourself. You leave. And he's like, they asked him, they're like, "What'd you do with your pants? Like, what'd you do with your underwear?" And like, "Oh, I just threw it in the locker." It's just sitting in the locker. Yeah, dude of the week, Ty Schmidt, Pat McAfee show for sharding himself.
That's so good. All right, so my dude of the week, in all honesty, while we were on the cruise, completely forgot, and then I was sick, so I didn't look at anything. But so I just thought back to the cruise, and I thought who would be my dude of the week on the cruise, and I'm going with our waitress Melissa. Was her
Easy.
name?
Easy.
Easy dude of the week. So this was my first cruise as an adult. I'll put that out there. So it was very new to the whole like drinking and just like I don't know, not being with my parents and just like
He was
eating
a
everything
newbie.
and whatever. Yeah, exactly.
He was
Whatever.
running wild, I tell you. He was running wild.
So the very first night we sit down at dinner, and our boy Zach was like, "Can I order 3 entrees because everything looks so good on the menu?" He goes, "Technically, no." She's like, "We're right next to the manager's office," and we were like literally right next to the manager's office. She's like, "I'll get in trouble, but here's what I'll do: you clean that plate, and the second you're done, I'll put the second entree down. So I'll go ahead and put it in. So we're like, okay, so for 4 nights, this is what we all did. She came around the table, and all of the guys at our table put in 4 appetizers, 3 entrees, basically whatever we wanted to try. And we would go one by one, and she would just stand there near our table. I mean, she was she was awesome, but she would just stand over watching us. And the second any one of us were like kind of done and like put our silverware down, she was picking it up and putting the next one right down just immediately. There was one night I ordered salmon, chicken cordon bleu, and beef tenderloin. And I didn't have a minute to breathe in between entrees because she was so quick with it. Just real quick, in and out. It was fantastic, and she was awesome. We took a picture with her. She sat down at our table for a while. Josh is going to try and get her again this weekend. So, dude of the week is Melissa, the waitress, who was
That's
awesome. She was
solid.
from, where was she from? South Africa, I think.
He's from Jamaica.
Jamaica. That's right. Completely different. Sorry. But she
Honorable
was awesome.
mention would be my stateroom attendant for having to deal with that bathroom. Oh God.
Ooh,
Oh God.
my honorable mention dude of the week is the dude that got trapped in solitary confinement in the room right next door to him.
Yeah, you had a security guard next to your room.
Outside. Did I tell you this yet, Brandon?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so there was the very first night of the cruise. I like went back to drop something off in the room. I was by myself, and there's like 6 security guards just like 2 doors down from my room, and like a couple, and they were like arguing, whatever. I was like, oh, what the heck's going on? So I walk in my room, put my stuff down, walk away. The rest of the cruise, there was a security guard posted up outside of their room. He was not allowed to leave their room, an interior stateroom with no window that was the size of a closet, for 4 days.
Wow.
He was literally, I don't know what he did. I was speculating a million different things, but he was literally just stuck there, and there were only 2 security guards, and they would just switch off back and
It's
forth.
awful.
Every time I came back, and like there was one time where it was when we were in Haiti, and the wife, girlfriend, whatever, was outside the room, and she was like, "Can he just come out for some fresh air?" And they were like, "No, sorry, he's not allowed to leave the room, whatever." He was just trapped in there, basically from when we left Miami to when we got back.
That sounds awful.
Oh my god, it was terrible.
Well, those are all 3 solid.
We got
Mine's
one
more of
pissing, we got one shitting, and we got one giving us food.
On the picks.
On the picks.
Let's do it.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm making a run at having the best record here for the season. I went 7-2 last week.
Damn. That
Ooh.
was really good.
Season total 49, 39, and 2.
Nice.
I'll hit the 2 losers first. Missouri minus 11.5 against Florida. Missouri just won outright, so I was fine with it as long as they won. And then OK State, Houston under 59.5. Both teams forgot how to play defense, so it wasn't even close. The 7 winners, Miami, Ohio, Buffalo under 40.5. Get some action on the card. Louisville -1 against Miami was a sweat, but we were good there. West Virginia, Cincinnati over 55.5. I believe West Virginia almost hit that by themselves. Old Faithful, Illinois, and Iowa under 30.5. I know Justin got it, I believe, at 33, but I stuck with the original line at 30.5. Still cash. Georgia -10 against Tennessee, easy. Oregon, Arizona State over 54. Oregon almost hit that by themselves, I believe, also. And then Boise fighting for bowl eligibility. They won today. They're going to a bowl game. They covered last week, -3.5 over Utah State. That was my 7.
Nice. Well, you had a much better week than I did. I went 4-3, so above 500. But
Up is
you
up.
technically, you have a better percentage than me. I have more wins than you, but you have a better percentage than me. I'm now 51, 45, and 3 on the season, so still comfortably above 500. But you're 10 games above, so that's pretty impressive. So yeah, 4-3 on the week. My 3 losers: Penn State, Rutgers over 42. Game never got started. UNC +6.5 against Clemson, just dead to me. I would say I'm not going to take them again, but it's the end of the season, so who cares? And then Utah +1 against Arizona. What a mistake that was. They got absolutely just beat the brakes off by Arizona. So just terrible pick there. But my 4 winners on the week, I had the spread in Miami of Ohio against Buffalo. It was Miami of Ohio -9. That one cashed really easily. Louisville -1, like you said, a little bit of a sweat, but they won by a touchdown. My too many points of the week was App State +11.5 against James Madison. They won outright, so great pick there. And then just printing money, like you said, Georgia -10 against Tennessee. Just the easiest line I'll ever take this season. So,
Gotcha. We all had pretty good weeks last week. Then I went 4-2 last week.
Okay.
We'll start with the perfect parlay. I'm actually pissed about the perfect parlay because last week it was Big 12 oriented. 3 out of the 4 legs hit. And the only one that didn't hit was Kansas State -8. They beat Kansas by 4. So officially dead to me, even though they beat us. They're dead anyway. But other than that, let's go through them. 2 losers. I had Duke -4. What a mistake that was. They lost outright. I had Missouri -11.5 against Florida. They're dead to me. They only won by 2.
Electric ending to that game.
Electric ending to that game, but that's it. Don't give a shit. They're supposed to win by 12. So those are the 2 losers. Not a big deal. 4 winners here. Georgia -10 seems like it was the lock of the century. It really was. I had BYU +24.5. BYU only lost by a touchdown against Oklahoma. So that was way too many points. I had Washington +1 against the Beavs, and they won outright, only by 2, though. It was a little bit closer game than I thought it was going to be. And then last but not least, all reliable, under 30.5, Illinois, Iowa. I mean, if you want free money, you might as well put the under on Iowa. That's just the name of the game. Potential big, maybe if think about this. I want you guys to think about this right now. Iowa in the college football playoff.
no.
Think about
No,
what could
they
have
can't.
been.
They got 2
I
losses.
say it
What could
every
have been if they
I
would have
say
won
it every Tuesday. They are not the number 16 team in the country. They are not. I took one look at their quarterback today. Today was the first Iowa game I watched all season. I took
They're
one look
terrible.
at their quarterback today. I knew immediately they weren't the number 16 team in the country. Their quarterback weighs 260 pounds. He's a tight end.
I can't wait to see what the line is for their game next week against either Michigan or Ohio State.
I saw some look aheads. If it's Michigan, it's Michigan -22.5. If it's
But what's the over under?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
That's
that.
what I want to know.
I know
24.5?
one of them is -22.5, and the other one is -21.5. I don't remember which
Well,
one.
they can't even score 21 points, so
No,
I would just take whoever they're playing against.
Yeah.
So that's it, 4-2. Really quick, I'll just give my season record. 47, 42, and 2. We're all above 500.
We're all above
This ain't
500.
bad here.
Look at us. Hey,
Well,
look at us.
who'd have
Who'd have
thought?
thought?
Who'd have thought?
Not me.
That's for damn sure. Not me.
I'll lead us off. I have another big card this week, and I texted it to you guys. I already have one play that has cashed. I had Tulane -3 over UTSA, so we're already 1-0 on the weekend. Up next, I've got Kentucky +7 against Louisville. I really think that it's gonna be a close game. I think it's like a field goal game either way. I don't know why, but rivalry game. I'm gonna take the dog. Utah and Colorado, I've got over 52.5. I think Utah bounces back after being embarrassed last week. I think Colorado scores like 2 touchdowns. But I think majority of these points are going to come from Utah. Next one, don't know why. Actually, I do know why I took this. I took this because of the TikTok kid. I've got Western Kentucky -10 over FIU.
The TikTok
Kid sold me on it. He knows his stuff. He's a big Hilltopper fan, so you know what? Go Tops. Next, I've got it under. I've got Wisconsin, Minnesota under 41.5. I think this is gonna be an Iowa-esque game. I have OK State and BYU over 56.5. Next, I think Coastal is an okay team. I think James Madison is not going to have recovered from last week. I've got Coastal +9.5 against JMU. Back to all reliable. We're closing the season where we started. I've got Jacksonville State +2.5 against New Mexico State on a letdown spot from Auburn. 2 more picks. I've got Florida and FSU over 51. I see this game being a shootout. And then I've got WVU -7 over Baylor. Big card this week. We're going for the knockout punch to finish above 500.
Jacksonville State, where did that lead you? Right back to me.
Love it. All right. I actually don't know if I have any duplicates with you. I was looking at my plays, and so I might have missed one. But anyways, so I have 7 plays this week. I have 2 of them are going on right now, so we'll start with those. I have Texas and Texas Tech over 52.5. That one's looking great. They're at 40 right now, and it's basically the start of the second half, so looking pretty good there. And then my other play going on right now, kind of like Jacksonville State, but I'm back to last season. I'm back on the Beavs. Oregon State plus 13.5. They're down 14 right now, so they're not covering, but it is halftime. They get the ball to start second half. So we'll see. All right, then I have 5 plays tomorrow. I love this weekend. It's because you guys know I love my too many points, and this is just the best weekend to take points because it's rivalry weekend and all these games are going to be close. So all right, so I have Kentucky against Louisville. I have Kentucky plus 8.
You got 8?
8 is what I got it at. Yeah. Did you have that play too?
Yeah, I had 7.
You want to take the 8?
I'll take the 8.
All right, yeah, that's a good take.
That could be big.
That game is at Louisville, but Kentucky's a good team. They've been ranked a couple times this season. I still think Louisville's not the number 10 team in the country. I'm sorry, they're a good team. They're not the number 10 team in the country. So, I'm gonna take Ohio State plus 3.5. That half point is huge. I don't know. This game is just that's going to be a great game, and I'm sad I can't watch it. But so I'll take Ohio State plus 3.5. I am flipping. I will not be betting against Arizona. I'm going to take them minus 10.5 against Arizona State. I think if they can beat the brakes off of Utah, that they can beat Arizona State by 10.5. And then my too many points of the week, I have Wazoo plus 16.5 against Washington. That's just too many points for me. Washington's played some close games with some teams that are not as explosive as Washington State is this year. So Washington State has had their ups and downs, but I like 16.5 there a lot in that rivalry game. And then my last play of the week is Kansas minus 7 at Cincinnati. Cincinnati season is over. They stink. We've seen it. Kansas may be starting their third-string quarterback. I didn't look that far, but even if they are, they only lost to K-State by 4 with their third-string quarterback. So.
No, I think Bean played last week.
No, he didn't.
He didn't.
It was like Ballard or something like that.
Oh,
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. But Bean might be playing this week. I don't know. So either way, they cover that. So
gotcha. Well, I have 8 plays in a perfect parlay this week. 2 of them I've already hit. We'll start with all reliable Iowa under 24.5. The lowest line in college football history.
You know what's crazy?
They got it.
You know what's crazy is we've been saying that for like 4 weeks now. The lowest line in college football. The lowest line.
And it hit. So, point Josh. There we go. So that was a winner. I also had Oklahoma minus 9.5 against TCU. They won 69 to 45. I'm riding Oregon. Minus 13.5. That's looking pretty good right now, but the second half is about to come up. And then I also had Texas Tech plus 14 ongoing right now. They're losing 33-7.
36
so
now.
Tech, dead to me. I just thought that Texas Tech would be riding some momentum. You know, when you play the Knights, you know, you get a little pep in your step. You know what I mean? No, that doesn't seem to be the case. And I
We
think
were their
Quinn
Super
Ewers is
Bowl.
just shoving it up there. You know what? So. So that's it for today. Tomorrow, I have a couple of things. We'll start with Ohio State, Michigan. I'm actually taking the over, 46.5. I think it's going to be a shootout. It's going to be back and forth. It's going to be chippy. Jim Harbaugh not being there, you know, has to, you know, get a little adrenaline going in Michigan and Ohio State. You know, they're just Ohio State. So I think a lot of points are going to be scored. 46.5 seems a little low. We'll see, but I'm taking the over there. I have FSU minus 6.5 against Florida. Jordan Travis, praying for you. Leg's not supposed to look like that. I think this is a bounce back game. I think that they're going to absolutely demolish the Gators. I think a touchdown line is pretty reasonable. So minus 6.5, I'll take FSU there. Charlotte plus 6 against USF because Alex Gollish is wild. He's a psycho. So Charlotte might win outright, hopefully. And then I have Kansas minus 7 against Cincinnati because we hate Cincinnati here. And last but not least, we have the perfect parlay, the last one of the regular season. We've already established that Brandon and Justin do not have to do any sort of punishment because I didn't go 500 in perfect parlays, which the fact that I've won 4 of them this year is still wild. This one is not going to be a winner. I'm telling you right now. So don't even think about it. But gotta get a little reverse psychology going there.
Yeah, of course.
First one here: LSU minus 11.5 against Texas A&M. A&M stinks. They don't have a coach. They suck. So LSU by 1 million. I'm actually fading you guys. I have Louisville -8. I think being at home is a big thing for them. I think that they're gonna do some things. We'll see. I'm thinking it's gonna be a 10-point game. And they're gonna prove everyone wrong. And if they lose, then they're dead to me. But they were dead to me anyway. So hey,
They've always been
this
dead.
doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean. See what this is happy. We're all happy here. Duke -6.5 against Pitt. That's another touchdown line. I think Duke can win by a touchdown. We can see it happen. Last but not least, in the Iron Bowl, Alabama Auburn, I have over 47.5. Nick Saban with the spooky dark magic is going to do some point scoring, and I think that that Auburn's going to bring it to him as well. So there's your four-leg perfect parlay. LSU -11.5 against Texas A&M. Louisville -8. Dead to us regardless. It's okay. Louisville -8 against Kentucky. Duke -6.5 against Pitt, and then over 47.5 in the Iron Bowl, Alabama and Auburn.
Well, we don't have to wait long to see how we do this week. We got about 24 hours, and we'll know how we finish the regular season.
Honestly, shocked, very shocked that we're all above 500. That we're actually having solid years.
This is the best it has ever gone, and this is what is this year 5 of our show? Is this year 5?
Yeah, I have my stats of all the previous.
I do too. I've never finished above
seasons.
500. I finished even.
I finished above 500 twice. Apparently, in our first season, I went 36, 21, and 2. That's wild. 15 games above 500. That's
We weren't
insane.
picking many games.
No,
though.
we weren't. No, but the only other time I've gone above 500 was last year. I went 74, 73, and 2.
Holy picks!
Yes,
Jeez.
There's so many. I was taking like 10
Well,
picks. I love college football. Dude.
Well, don't forget. Every year we make a pick in every conference championship game, whether it's
Yes,
spread over
that
under.
is true.
So
Yeah.
That is
we will
true.
have a big card next week, and then we'll still have bowl game picks too.
Mhm.
Now it wouldn't be a show if I didn't mention the flag. I never mentioned an over/under today because the over/under was set at a half. The flag has not fallen because the flag was not put up today.
Oh.
Come on,
Did you
get
do that
hype.
on purpose?
I did it on purpose.
Okay.
I'm
The
telling you now.
The flag can't fall if it doesn't
The
go
flag
up.
can't fall if it's not up. And when the under hits, UCF is, I believe it's 4-0 when the under hits on the flag.
Something like that, yeah. Yeah, we can yeah,
Wait.
forget blaming us for the cruise. It was the
It's
flag.
the flag.
It's the flag.
It's the flag.
So I strategically did not put it up for that reason. It
Smart man.
is still in the same spot it was when we finished recording last Monday.
Smart man.
Well, actually, it fell after that because when we finished, it was still up, and when I woke up the next morning, it was down. So it has not been touched since then.
So wait, it's been just down the whole time, or did you put it back up?
It's been down. So like every week after we record, it always falls no matter what. It doesn't stay up the entire week. And then I
Okay.
always, the night or that we do the podcast, 35 minutes before one of you get here, I'll go and put it up.
Gotcha. Okay, as long as you're not like, like as long as it's consistent every time, and it's
yeah,
not
it's
like you're leaving
consistent.
it down and like you put it up every time you see it, or
Yeah, no, it's
Mhm.
consistent. It's very consistent.
right.
So the under is hit.
Love that.
Take with that what you will. But Josh's hot take, by the way, noon game tomorrow. Rip.
Yeah,
We
rip
almost
that.
did it.
And
That was
Plumlee
close.
needs 2 more picks.
That ain't no. We're not gonna
That
catch
ain't
that.
happening. So, but hey, it would have happened if he played in every game. You can give me
Fair.
that.
Yes. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Well, last home game of the season. You got me for a quarter, Josh for a half, Justin for a full game. It's been a weird year. Let's finish on a high note. We hate Houston. Minus 14 over under 16.5 FS1 noon 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Go Broncos. I'm glad they got to be bowl
I'm so
eligible.
happy
Good
they
for
got
them.
bowl eligible.
We need to change our title of our show to Dudes on the Wall / Boise State stands or something like.
I'll put it in our Twitter bio.
Honorary-
We are Boise State stands.
Change our location. Change our location on Twitter to Boise,
That's
Idaho.
funny.
No, change it to that pizza spot. That's where you
Ooh.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Anyway, we play Houston tomorrow. So Knights by 90. Go Knights, charge on.
Charge on.
Charge on.
Dudes on the Mall is the podcast to listen to.